Here on the ground, change happens fast. Problems feel frequent and urgent. It's loud and anxiety runs high. From a satellite view, the Earth looks the same as it did thousands of years ago. We've been here before. Let's learn from our past and shoot for a better future.
So I'm speaking to you from August 17th, the day after Liz Cheney lost her primary election in Wyoming, and a lot of people are speculating as to what her plan is. I don't want to use this segment to talk about the fact that she still wants abortion to be completely illegal, even in the case of incest and rape, or that she wants to do away with Medicare and Medicaid and Social Security. She does not want us to be able to get lower drug prices, negotiate for lower drug prices. She does not want a cap on the cost of insulin. She's fine with women dying because of getting rid of Roe v. Wade. She's fine with diabetics dying because they can't afford insulin. I'm not talking about that on this segment. I'm talking about what her plans are. Too many people are calling her a quote-unquote hero, but really she's just doing her job. Now, I'm very happy that she is actually doing her job. I'm very happy that she's one of very few Republicans who are choosing country over party, to the degree that she's willing to lose her seat in Congress. She has lost her seat in Congress. She will not be in Congress in 2023. But she's got plans beyond that, quite obviously. And a lot of people are speculating about what those are. People are asking her if she's going to run for president in 2024. Here's part of what she said in her concession speech, and see what you think of this. She obviously is a student of history, which I love that. And she's using history in her concession speech. I think it's great. It's very well written, very well delivered. She's great at all of that. And her service in the January 6th committee is incredible, absolutely incredible. I give her that. She's doing an absolutely great job, and she's really doing a big part in trying to save the United States of America and our democracy. So I'm gonna read verbatim a part of her concession speech, and then we'll talk about what she may be meaning by that. So here it is. She says, this I'll quote starting right now. In May of 1864, after years of war and a string of reluctant Union generals, Ulysses S. Grant met General Lee's forces at the Battle of the Wilderness. In 2 days of heavy fighting, the Union suffered over 17,000 casualties. At the end of that battle, General Grant faced a choice. Most assumed he would do what previous Union generals had done and retreat. On the evening of May 7th, Grant began to move. As the fires of the battle still smoldered, Grant rode to the head of the column. He rode to the intersection of Brock Road and Orange Plank Road, and there, as the men of his army watched and waited, instead of turning north back toward Washington and safety, Grant turns his horse south toward Richmond and the heart of Lee's army. Refusing to retreat, he pressed on to victory. Lincoln and Grant and all who fought in our nation's tragic Civil War, including my great-great-grandfathers, saved our Union. Their courage saved freedom, and if we listen closely, they are speaking to us down the generations. We must not idly squander what so many have fought and died for." Unquote. She's saying that she's pressing on. She's saying that she lost the battle, but she's not going to lose the war. She's saying she's going to save the Union. And that's all great. But what is her plan to do so? In 2024, most certainly, she cannot win the nomination of the Republican Party, and she cannot win the nomination of the Democratic Party. Some are saying she's maybe going to wait longer and run for president maybe in 2028, 2032. I don't know. She said she's going to fight to make sure that Donald Trump does not ever get close to the Oval Office again. Those are all great things. So this is what people are talking about. And these are the things that people are kind of predicting, you know. Maybe she's going to wait longer. She's got a long plan. She's smart. Definitely. She's smart. And she's been asked on television just last night, or this morning even, are you going to run for president? And she said, I'll be making a decision on that in the next few months. I'm beginning to think that she may be thinking that the Republican Party needs to be completely destroyed and then rebuilt. I think she may be starting to think that there's no salvaging of this current Republican Party. It's like, are you going to try and renovate an old building that obviously has many problems and is ready to fall down? Or are you just going to implode that building, just tear it down and then build a brand new building in its place? I'm starting to think that she's thinking the latter of those two. I'm thinking that she may be starting to think that she's going to run as a third party. Very, very difficult thing to do. But her plan is not to win. Her plan is to decimate the Republican Party. Obviously, this is a very optimistic plan for those of us who don't want the United States to turn into an autocratic dictatorship or a fascist state. But I think she's one of those people. She's somebody who can see that we're on the verge of, if we let the Republican Party do what it wants to do, that we are on the verge of becoming an autocratic fascist dictatorship. Can we call them Nazis yet? I don't know. But what if she ran as a third party, taking away votes from the Republican Party, because she's got a lot of Republicans who think she's a hero? I don't think she's a hero. I think that she just has been doing her job. I'm proud of the fact that she decided to do her job under very much scrutiny from Trump and his supporters. But I'm not calling her a hero, and I don't agree with anything she wants to do legislatively in this country. But I think she agrees with me, and I agree with her on the fact that we cannot let the Republicans prevail, even in 2022, certainly not in 2024. I think she may be willing to be the Trojan horse bomb that decimates and destroys the Republican Party. If she were to run as a third-party candidate, the Democratic nominee will definitely win. She knows that. She will lose again, but she seems to be okay with that. She seems to have a new crusade, and I'm starting to think that maybe she's thinking my new crusade is to completely tear down the Republican Party so that she can be a leader in rebuilding the Republican Party. I think that's what needs to happen. I don't even know if it'll be called the Republican Party. I mean, it's kind of like the way of the Whigs, right? They changed their name to the Republican Party. And they were actually the progressives, the liberals, and the Democrats back in the 1850s and 60s were the conservatives who wanted to conserve slavery. They didn't want things to change. And the progressives wanted to make progress, and change things and get rid of slavery and have a new way in the United States. This is my theory. I think Liz Cheney may just be willing to completely decimate the Republican Party by running for president in 2024 on the independent party ticket. Because we all know that people who call themselves independents are really just people who are afraid to tell you that they're Republicans. Although I do have another story about that, personal story that I just heard tonight from my daughter, who was door knocking and ran into an independent who was trying to let my daughter know that she's got to be careful where she gets her news. And this person said, the best place to get your news is PBS. And I thought that was refreshing. This is an actual independent, not a Republican in disguise. But she also called the Republican candidate in our district and wants to call the Democratic candidate in our district as well, just hasn't yet. And when she called the Republican candidate, she didn't like him because he's not a likable guy. But anyway, that's another story. We're talking about Liz Cheney. I think we have now talked about Liz Cheney, and this is basically my theory, is that Liz Cheney, 2024, runs as a third-party candidate, takes splits the Republican vote, therefore causing the Democrat to win, and the Democrats to also, I believe they're going to hold the House and hold the Senate, and as a matter of fact, gain seats in both of those bodies. And because I think Americans have actually woken up to the fact that we're on the verge of turning into an autocratic, fascist dictatorship. And I don't think they're going to let that happen. So I'm optimistic for 2022, and I'm optimistic for 2024. And ironically, Liz Cheney just may be the person who helps that along the most. And thank you very much, Liz Cheney, for that. But you will never get my vote. You've been listening to A Satellite View with host Todd Mikkelson. Go to toddmikkelson.com for links and more information.